Welcome everybody. This is our fourth developer office hours, and today we have Dylan Zhang from Pawn Network. Dylan is the founder and CEO of Pond. Pond is a crypto foundation model, and I would welcome Dylan to explain more about it. We have our community mod Leon with us today, and myself, Gatin Devrel at Zero G Labs, here for coordinating this session. Over to you, Dylan. Just give us a brief introduction about yourself and what is Pond about.
Right, thank you so much. Good to meet you here, guys. I'm Dylan. I'm one of the co-founders of Pun. So what we are doing here at Pun is we are developing an AI model trained with on-chain data. Actually, the on-chain space is full of behaviors, like different wallets, different clusters of wallets. They form a different, they form different like behaviors. So what we do is we actually we train a model to learn all those behaviors and their consequences. Then later on, once some similar behavioral patterns happen on chain, or even an early trace of some of the behaviors we have identified in the past, are happening on chain, then we can use those early trace and to predict the next behaviors. From the next behavioral prediction, we can predict the consequences based on what the model has learned before. So yeah, this is pretty much it, and excited to be here and to explain more about what Pawn is and how we can work with how Pawn is working with zero gravity. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Dylan. Just to start with, I'm curious to know, you completed your master's in engineering and mechanical engineering. Then I saw you rising a founding member of multiple startups, being a fellow and founder in Wellness DAO. So, what got you into the transition of path into Web3, and what got you into on-chain AI?
Right. So my background was mechanical engineering. So at the time, I was doing machine learning. Actually, I was doing autonomous driving. Autonomous driving space involved with a lot of object detection, lots of machine learning. So that's kind of started the foundation of what we are doing here today. It's still a machine learning technique, but it just like it's trained to detect different objects. Previously, it was detect the real world objects, but now it's more like we want to identify the on-chain behavioral patterns. Um, so initially we were developing something else. It's kind of like, because I've been doing business for a while, and the biggest problem in business has always been looking for different people. For example, if today I want to get connected with Vitalik, the most efficient way for me to do so is really to find who in my network can refer me to someone who knows Vitalik or Vitalik himself. And also, we wanted to know who knows who well. So we thought of like the on-chain space is a perfect place for us to develop uh, that kind of a social search engine, because all the data, no matter it's going to be social data, financial data, or other types of data, they actually are in the same space, which is the on-chain space. So we developed an algorithm to calculate the depths of different connections and how well they know each other. And gradually we realized, actually, just because all the financial data, all the social data, etc., they are all at the same place. It makes perfect sense for us to develop something bigger than social, than finding people. So we started developing and started training a model to learn the behaviors of wallets rather than simply calculating the depths of the connection between different wallets. So that's basically how we started. So initially we were very social focused, but now we expanded to pretty much all the sectors and verticals of crypto native applications in social security, trading, MEV, and so on. So yeah, this is like it's definitely not overnight decision. At the very beginning, we just decided, this is the direction. It's like it was evolving progress for us. Um, yeah, we just did some research and we've been implementing stuff, and did on from the research and implementation, we feel, oh, actually something else we can do. So that led us to be who we are today.
That is an interesting take on how you transition ML from. I just see that in on-chain space, a lot of them are using deploying models on on-chain. or
Hmm.
bringing as a service provider, deploying data sets on blockchain. Currently in zero G, we have a lot of service providers. But your approach of uniquely bringing on-chain data, using that as a data sets, and building our crypto model out of that is pretty outstanding. So all I can understand is Pond is building a decentralized graph neural network model specifically designed for Web3. This model will aim to learn on-chain behaviors and it will predict all the future actions. So what I see is like your vision is to enhance the Web3 user experience and also to democratize access to on-chain machine learning and also to leverage on-chain liquidity for various applications like trading, social, DeFi, networking, and security, and almost in all aspects. So my question is like, could you elaborate on how Pond's GNN model specifically enhances on-chain applications? Like, what challenges did you face in creating a decentralized model? And you could also tell like what challenges did you face and how did you overcome? And like, what are the future plans for it? Just to give us a brief idea on your vision and mission with Pond.
Right. Um, I think we start from how we supercharge different applications. Um, if we s- so if you think us in another way, like we have today without us in this market, we have lots of data analytics projects, different data analytics projects. They are doing different things. They are helping with different use cases in crypto. For example, we have Nelson who is doing trading, just giving the smart money, who is helping different projects to do cyber attack prevention. And we have doing this very research driven, lots of data has been dumped to the platform and to allow different people to use. It involves with social, it involves with security, and we even have chain analysts and Go Plus. What they are doing essentially is they are doing data analytics in security use case. So those are um, some of the use cases, even without us today in data analytics, they are doing, and they are doing super well. Apparently, so everyone worth a lot of money right now. But what we are doing here is compare with data analytics. We are so what data analytics is basically it's just like it tracks the inflow and outflow of different addresses and it put them in a line chart. From those line charts, a bar chart, essentially, you will get insights from what's going on chain. But what we are doing here is compare with data analytics. It's really we are not doing something very very futuristic or very very powerful. I mean, in basic words, it's we are just using machine learning compared with data analytics to retrieve the values from the on-chain data. So, thinking about, for example, in trading, um, from the traditional way of data analytics, you have to retrieve different data and doing minus and plus to track the inflow and outflow of different wallets. But the thing with that is you can not really find the correlation. For example, uh, today just one token that has pumped 5x in 2 days. What happened on chain? Maybe they are 100 or even 1,000 wallets. They are helping to facilitate this progress um, to facilitate this result. But the same with the analytics is you don't find any correlations between different wallets. You don't find correlations between different behaviors. What you have maybe just 100 lines, 100 charts of the inflow and outflow of different wallets, but you don't have properties of those wallets. Like you cannot find a correlation. Like maybe the age of the wallet contributes to this progress as well, or how different wallets uh, how much they contributed to this progress at all. So it's kind of like, imagine today if you are using Google, you are searching what is zero gravity, and you probably will have 1,000 search results, and you have to analyze one by one. So first of all, let's say, from the first piece of if result, you have the information of zero gravity about, zero gravity is a modular AI chain. The second piece of information it gives you, zero gravity they have raised a 35 million pre-seed. The third piece of information give you, they have a very cool, office hours. and you cannot really put them all together in an automatic way. So you have to process them by yourself with your brain to put them up together and to make a prediction. So next time people say, "Oh, there's an AI modular chain," um, and your first impression is this is zero gravity. Um, we are doing the later, and lots of data projects they are doing the first part using data analytics. So that's basically on a high level how we power um, crypto native applications. So pretty much all the data analytics projects or the values data analytics brings to the market can be redone through machine learning again. And also I think the second question is some challenges we have today. For example, we have to store lots of data because the on-chain space, and also at the same time we are not really focusing on one chain only. There's a lot of data, and we have to process all the data, and so storage becomes a big problem for us. And zero gravity, they can provide such a solution for us to give us a solution of a storage. And also another thing is, zero gravity, they have a very vast ecosystem. This ecosystem has so many different projects, and what is good about the modularity of zero gravity 100% in my view is you can make use of what you need instead of you have to deploy everything on a very heavy infrastructure. So zero gravity, they have different solutions in model development, in the use of models, and also model storage. Not to mention about from the ecosystem itself, we can get connected with different projects and work something together. I remember I had a conversation with Michael, one of the co-founders of Zero Gravity. I asked him, what is the vision of Zero Gravity? He said he definitely imagined a future like, every model can be open source and every model is a public good. They can power all kinds of, infrastructure in real life, in traffic, for example, like all the cars or the other traffic lights controlling system can be coordinated with a centralized entity. So I think that was pretty cool to me. So yeah, on one hand, we need data solutions. This is Zero Gravity provides, and storage solutions is what Zero Gravity provides as well. Yeah, those are some of the solutions challenges we are facing at the moment. I think is there another question, or this is the end of it? I remember there might be
Yes.
another question. Yeah,
Just wanted to ask how we overcome these challenges, but I guess we can just talk ahead. Like,
yeah,
so as you mentioned, like you are using zero G as a storage provider, and as you mentioned, the modularity in zero G gives us a flexible option for you to use exactly what for the requirements that you need, and also having a diverse ecosystem would be helpful for you in the long run. So I
yeah.
appreciate your thoughts on that, and I would like to continue the talk on like what is the current stage of integration and what is the existing storage network that you use, and like what is the current status of integration with zero G that currently Pond has?
Yeah. So for Zero Gravity, so I brought this to Michael. I said, for the model development, data is definitely a very essential part. So what data solutions Zero Gravity has these days? Some of them they are under development. Some of them what we're using is really about the on-chain data indexer. So Zero Gravity, Zero G, they have a on-chain data indexer that allows us to retrieve um like we can define our own function through this data indexer. What we are capable of is something like today I wanna learn what our different addresses are doing, what our different contracts are, and so we can define some of the functions in a code, and later on there's a machine learning algorithm that can retrieve the meaning of codes within different smart contracts, and later on it sort of like give us contract labels of different wallets, sorry, of different contracts. So from the functionality level, we'll be able to know what contract is doing what. But having this, it actually help us a lot to understand this entire on-chain space. because without this kind of like contract labels, what we see every day on chain is just like this wallet a transfer to that contract and that contract transfer to another wallet or to another contract. We don't know what is the meaning of different contracts. So, for example, is it a central exchange or is this a gaming contract or is this a DeFi project? They are doing high frequency transaction with some wallets. Is the MEV contract? We couldn't know. So I think that's where the user defined function really helps with us on the data engineering side, provided by Zero Gravity. Something else is also under development. Um, so for example, the data ecosystem, I think we just wait for the official announcement of Zero Gravity on that later.
Thank you for throwing light on that. So to continue with, just I'm just curious, like because I was in between interested in all the MEV bots, like the arbitrage opportunities. So I find those graph that you mentioned, like the graph of which contract transfer to which and from which exchange the swap has happened. So the graph that you mentioned is kind of the similar network, right? From which contract transfer has happened to what, like what wallet has been highly interacted with. So what is one use case that you can give us as an example for us to understand it in more clear way, like end-to-end use case? And I just saw in your docs that multiple use case that you mentioned are artificial intelligence finance, so AI models that are trained to develop advanced yield strategies in security domain, on-chain marketing. So what one simple example that you can give for the community members can understand, like what exactly spawn in low-level understanding? Yep.
Right. So let's take MEV and a DeFi for example. Like in MEV, actually, this is a very good question about. So in general, machine learning excels at two types of problems. First, in this MEV context, there are noise in the information to make a decision. One example is in time prediction for MEV. When you see certain actions like search for quotes, site approval, close landing positions, etc., someone is probably going to buy a token. But there are many noise in that actions and many variations of people's behaviors, and machine learning is good at finding statistically significant patterns to make a prediction. Deterministic rule-based system will not be able to handle it. So what it means is something like what MEV does every day, like you said, DEX arbitrage or front run bot, or sandwich attack. What they do essentially is this pretty much they just buy everything. So um, for other MEV researchers or for other MEV strategists, what you want to be is you always want to be one ahead of everyone so you can take the advantage of the arbitrage, take advantage of the sandwich attack and the sequence in the mempool and all that. So before everyone doing swap, before everyone doing different actions, you always have some approve, especially when you are buying a new token from this wallet. It's like a different other steps involved before you can make you can make the transfer to buy this token. Um, the problem with that is it costs time, and MEV is really about time. Um, how you want to do so is, so for example, what we can do is we can use this model to learn different characteristics of different wallets and compare with the previous behaviors. And from that, what you essentially have is statistical calculations about different wallets, like what different wallets they are designed for. Are they how likely they are to be a MEV wallet? And as long as you have that piece of information, you'll be able to monitor them to see what they are doing. And from what they are doing, basically, you can reverse engineer potentially what their strategy is. And then you can, as long as you understand what their strategy is, you can be ahead of them in some ways. So that's for the MEV. And for DeFi, actually, so what DeFi is really about, actually, like it's really about swap or or lending. So we are slowly touching on the lending part and also the DEX part. So in Dash context, it has liquidity pool. For liquidity pool, what do you essentially want to do is, I think some of us here today, we all have experience of um, the buying on-chain tokens, and if you invest in a lot of money in on-chain tokens, the slippage normally is very high. So 100% the reason why it's very high is really because everyone, like you said, is doing arbitrage on the central exchange on the price of the token. But nobody actually is arbitraging the liquidity pools of the decentralized exchanges. Um, how to do so is you imagine you have this entire on-chain sentiment prediction to say, which kind of topic or which kind of contracts will become a hot thing. Then from that is you can doing some arbitrage into the liquidity pool to say, likely I am a holder of this token or I don't hold these tokens, but from this model prediction, also my own analysis, I feel like this token can be a next big thing. Then I buy this token and I stake into this liquidity pools. By doing so, you are generating actual yield, and also at the same time, um, you are helping lower the slippage of um, buying these tokens, so you can have a lower slippage and less impermanent loss when you're having this token. So this is on the DeFi part. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Because MEV and arbitrage is one good thing that I related with while you just told about the complete graph thing. Because most of the DEX and protocol, as you mentioned, like in the arbitrage field, like everyone are relying on the graphs to find the proper structure to find the which whether to use from Uniswap V2 to V2 exchange or like V2 to V3 exchange or V3 to V4. So that totally depends on like the fastest way to get the swap done before others. So for that, this on-chain data would be like highly helpful. And the way you elaborated it gives us a clear clarity about it. And the other thing that I see is like one of the Pond's goal is to use AI model to monitor and predict abnormal on-chain behavior. Like we just saw one good use case about us. So the other thing is like Pond can like help in a lot of the security aspect, like predicting, like enhance on-chain security and like mitigate risk before there is actually a when there is a threat. Like mitigate it before, like if you find that your wallet is depreciated, like beforehand automatically you just transfer all your funds to another wallet address that you add as a backup address. So what is your perspective in the security field, or like you have any other priorities which you want to see Pond to be like more active at, like even though there are multiple segments of usage from DeFi or AFI so to having security aspects, like what is your priority, or like what is your take if security is your priority in this?
Yeah, so in our case, it's really like what we are doing is we are very application driven for now, since we're quite early stage, and what we want to do is really to listen to what the market wants the most and what the model can do more efficiently. Because
Understood.
here's the thing in this market, like so we have many new things, coming up. Um, the problem with that is a lot of new things they're actually very research based. Like, even some like lots of things going on, our project is very research based. From a research to a product or to engineering works, actually it takes a bit of time. So certainly our model can help with different use cases, but in some use cases, like decentralized finance, actually is a bit way ahead of the market, and we definitely are not there yet. So theoretically, it is totally possible, but it's just like the maturity of the industry doesn't support such a thing to happen. Even though we can engineer them out, but nobody would like to use it. It's kind of like let's say all the Ethereum L2s, Ethereum, Vitalik, they have been pushing really hard on those L2s, and it has been years. It has
Yes.
been years, but it's still like the L2s today, it's not as important as L1 or with other like application specific chains like zero gravity in AI. So yeah, I would say like in some use cases like the industrial maturity is not there yet, and it takes time. So what we do here is we are talking to different projects. By talking to different projects, we actually have a direction on what we want to do, and some of the projects from the conversation it gradually transit to something we can work together. So that's such as what we are doing here today, these days, in a security use case with one of the largest security projects in the space. It's really becoming application driven. So from applications, we do some theoretical research, and from the research, we engineer something out of our model, and we help the third parties.
Totally get it. Thank you so much. So that's regarding that, and I think we just pretty much covered on the whole thing from integration, from your mission and vision, the challenges you faced, like how exactly does this work on like specifying more on the different use cases, getting deeper into one example and giving the security aspect, and also you just also mentioned about your future thing like that is data driven. So I think we have pretty much covered up the overall thing. Like the next thing that I would like to involve here is the last and final thing is like how can the community members come and contribute to Pond in the current stage? Like, is there any career openings or is there any programs that you are conducting or is there any other open source repository that you need active contribution to? Or like how can our community members benefit from contributing with Pond? So just throw some light on that here.
Yeah, so two things. If you support zero gravity, indirectly you are supporting us because essentially some of the services we use from zero gravity will also need your support. So the more you support zero gravity
Definitely,
is
yes.
kind of like how you support Pine. And also, if you're interested, you can follow our Twitter. Twitter handle is called Pond GNN, like Graph Neural Network, abbreviation of Graph Neural Network upon GN, and we're gonna release some of the testnet very soon, so you can play with it, and maybe you'll be able to get the sentiment of the entire auction space, and from the sentiment, you can you basically you can help you with the auction token trading to be something ahead of the market. And also, if you are a MV researcher, feel free to use some of the tech stack we're about to release soon. And also, we have a solution for security as well by working with one of the largest security projects in the space. They work everyone except for Uniswap. So yeah, these are the two ways.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think the community members would be benefited from this, and we both, as a protocol zero G and the Pond, we both will be actively benefited by the contribution of our community members. That's why I just want to bridge the gap between like Pond's community members, our community members, for both a fruitful partnership and also for the development of our protocol in a greater scale. So that being said, so thank you so much for your time today, Leland. So, and hopefully we'll have a great partnership and looking forward to hear greater updates from your side. And we also are looking forward to provide greater support from our end. So thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your invitation as well, Kathy.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. So you can follow our socials. So I'll be sharing all the links in the description. Jan will be sharing all the details of the next session. So feel free to join us in the next session. So all the details will be shared in the group soon. And also I'll be sharing the social handles for Pawn Network. So yeah, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.